I'm Ellis Martin. Join me for a conversation with David Watkinson, the CEO of Ameriwest Lithium, trading on the Canadian Stock Exchange's AWLI, and in the U.S. on the OTC as AWLIF. Ameriwest Lithium is focused on unlocking value in a world shifting towards green energy solutions that run off lithium-based batteries. The company's mission is to become a leader in exploration and development of world-class lithium and battery metal mining assets. Ameriwest projects include the Deer Musk East Lithium Project in Clayton Valley, Nevada. Also in Nevada, the Railroad Valley Lithium Project, the Edwards Creek Valley Project, and in Arizona, the Thompson Valley Project. David, welcome back to the program. Nice to visit with you again.
Nice to visit with you, too.
It's been a while since we've spoken. Why don't you give us an update of what's been happening with Ameriwest Lithium?
Sure. The company actually started to focus on lithium in March of 2021. So it's really been a year since we changed the focus of the company and put together a management team and a technical team and went out and acquired a number of properties in Nevada to focus on. So the company has in excess of $4.2 million in cash and receivables as of the end of October 2021, which was our last financials, but the cash positions actually increased because we had a number of warrants exercised since that time. So probably in excess of $5 million. So we're well cashed up for exploration. Our main focus has been the Railroad Valley property in Nevada. So it's our most advanced stage property as far as exploration goes at this time. So we believe that Railroad Valley, where we're located, has potential to host a lithium brine deposit. Our initial focus was to put together a land package. So we staked about 462 claims, and then we just recently acquired another 224 claims from American battery technology companies. So our land package now is up to about 686 mineral claims, so about 13,600 acres in size. So it's a very large property, and we're actually in the process of staking some additional claims because we're trying to control a gravity low from geophysics work that we did on the area. And we believe where this gravity low is, there's potential to host a lithium brine deposit. So we kind of have a three-phase initial exploration approach to these brine deposits. We start off by doing a gravity geophysics survey, which identifies a potential valley and depression where lithium may be concentrated in the valley. Typically, we're looking for a closed valley where over the years water has pooled and lithium is dissolved into that water and built up in concentration. So typically there's hot springs in valleys or there's a volcanic source for the lithium that builds up. So we've identified one of these through a gravity survey. And then we do what's called a magnetotelluric geophysical survey, which looks at the subsurface resistivity of material that's below surface. So if you have a brine, it typically has a low resistivity and a high conductivity, which is the converse of the resistivity. So it shows the potential for a brine deposit. So we do that as a next step, and then we look at doing seismic work, which helps us identify the lithologies that may be in the valley and the structures like faults and other things, and helps us identify. So we kind of have a three-phase geophysical approach initially, and that's what we're doing at Railroad Valley. We completed the gravity work, perfected the claim package. We've done 4 magnetotelluric lines. I'll just call them MT lines for short. We're going to be doing 2 more lines. So we do these as cross sections across the gravity low to identify the brine target. And then we've acquired seismic data. There's quite a bit available in the valley from the oil and gas industry, as well as there were historically oil and gas wells that were drilled. So we can acquire data from that to look at the lithologies and other information that's available from the drill logs from that drilling. And we're putting all that together in a model right now. And our goal is to actually permit and hopefully drill there later this summer or early this fall, subject to the availability of a drill and our success in getting through the permit process.
And you're all cashed up for that, right?
Yeah, we're all cashed up for that. So we're excited about this property and what we're seeing. We have some press releases on our website that kind of show where the gravity low is. We'll be putting out additional information as we get it finalized. People will be able to see the targets as we see them, and we'll probably end up doing some three-dimensional modeling of these targets to help us identify where we want to put a discovery hole. The holes you're looking at drilling here are probably in the 2,000 to 4,000 foot range, and our initial drill hole will probably be a core hole. So we know the brine is there. We won't know for sure what the lithium content is or if there is lithium in it until we drill that discovery hole. You know, all the indications are from other work work by other people in the valley that there will be lithium in this deposit, but when we drill it, we won't know for sure.
What are the environmental issues there, if any, Dave?
Well, lithium certainly gotten the attention of environmentalists. On one hand, everybody is looking to move to electric vehicles and alternatives to fossil fuels, but lithium properties and mining of lithium obviously creates some environmental issues. The biggest one is really water rights. So today, because of concerns over the amount of water that's being used on these projects, new technology is being developed in order to allow people to pump and remove the lithium, but then put the water after the lithium's removed back into the aquifer. So that's the technology that we'll be looking to get to a point where we're developing an operating mine.
What else is happening with the company?
Our second priority property is called Edwards Creek Valley. So it's located about 140 miles east of Reno. So it also has potential to host a large lithium brine target. So we originally staked about 829 claims there and completed a gravity geophysical survey. And then based on that survey, we increased our land position and now hold about 1,243 claims totaling about 22,200 acres. So we've effectively staked up the entire valley where this potential brine deposit is to control it. So our plan now there is to conduct a magnetotelluric survey where the claim block, we started to do that before Christmas, but then we had some rainfall, so we got water on the playa, which made it difficult to access, so we're waiting for it to dry out. So our plan now is to put 6 MT lines as cross sections across the valley to help identify the potential brine target, and then we'll complete some seismic work there, and we'll use the gravity and the MT and the seismic to model that target, and ultimately we'll permit and drill that deposit too. So it's a little bit behind Railroad Valley, but not too far behind. So again, it's something we might potentially be able to drill this year, depending on the availability of the drill and getting the permits in place. One of the challenges right now is finding drills that can drill deeper holes like this. There are only a couple of companies that do this, and their drills are booked out a little bit ahead, so we'll have to wait our turn to get in the process. Thompson Valley, that's located in Arizona. It's about 120 miles from Phoenix. So it is a lithium clay target. So it's adjacent to what's called the Lyles mine that's operated by Vanderbilt, and they mine some high-grade clays there that I think that are used in the cosmetics industry or other types of industries like that. So they don't mine a lot of material, but it's a specific type of clay. But there's historic data that lithium was discovered in that area in the clay deposit. So we've acquired exploration permits on about 2,900 acres of state land to explore for lithium-bearing clays. So we're just compiling some of the historic data on the property, and we're getting ready to permit in order to do some exploration work there. So our goal there is to get out, do geological mapping, and do sampling of the clay deposits that are on our land, and then ultimately do a drilling program there also to look at the lithium potential. So we've been active in the last year. We put together what we think are 4 excellent properties, and we still may acquire other assets if we see fit. So we do have an exploration group kind of looking at other assets at the same time, but our focus right now is Railroad Valley number 1, Edwards Creek Valley number 2. Obviously, the Arizona project will be shortly number 3.
A lot's changed in the last year, especially the last few weeks in the world. And, before it was almost a political thing about green tech and clean tech. And of course, everybody's an environmentalist in the fact that we like to breathe clean air and drink clean water. So that's a given, climate change or not. We are forced now to wean ourselves from fossil fuel. It's no longer a political decision. It's no longer an environmental decision. The supply chain is getting crunched, and the demand there is something we haven't seen ever.
So I think the demand for lithium is just going to continue to grow and skyrocket in the future. We certainly see the supply chain issues that are developing with recent events, potentially issues with Russia and even China. But the demand for electric vehicles is growing, and there's still a push to move away from fossil fuels, which means we have to have battery storage, even in the grid, in order to store power for use. I mean, I'm in California here. We definitely always have an issue with potentially really exceeding the supply of power that's available summer and even potentially having blackouts at some point. So the issue there is only going to continue to grow unless we increase storage capacity in the grid.
And the market has performed better than I expected a year ago with regard to lithium. Lithium really never had the consistent growth that it seems to have now.
We've really seen a change, certainly in the transition to electric vehicles, that seems to be driving demand between Tesla and Ford and other companies that are developing electric vehicles. And certainly the U.S. government is pushing to electrify the government fleet of vehicles. All that has started the drive and the increase in lithium prices. And I think legislatively, it's just going to continue to grow as government moves to try to get away from fossil fuel. So it's like a change that's being legislated into our future.
Tell us about the share structure of the company for those that are interested in potentially investing.
So Ameriwest trades on the Canadian Stock Exchange. We've got about 55 million shares issued and outstanding right now. Market cap is about 53.9 million Canadian, based on what I'm looking on the Toronto Venture Exchange website right now.
And you also trade in the U.S. under the symbol AWLIF, and you can punch that in any trading platform on your laptop or on your computer and become an investor. But that's entirely your choice. It's not mine. We're not suggesting it. We're just saying you can if you want to. Dave, thanks so much for joining us today on the program. We really appreciate the update on Ameriwest Lithium.
Great. I appreciate the opportunity to give everyone an update.
I've been speaking with David Watkinson, the CEO of Ameriwest Lithium, trading on the Canadian Stock Exchange as AWLI and in the U.S. on the OTC as AWLIF. Go to the company's website, AmerWestLithium.com. For Ameriwest Lithium and the Ellis Martin Report, I'm Ellis Martin.
Would you like to be one of the first to see who we are following? Subscribe to our audio newsletter. It's free. EllisMartinReport.com.